What's up, y'all? Today I have another rental team recreation where I've recreated the EVs and the natures that might not be so visible on an open team sheet of a top player's team and ported them over to the game so that you guys are able to play with the rental team. I do have 5 rental teams saved right now, so I'll be removing this one, the Emilio Forbes team, to share this newest team. All right, now that that's done, we'll select the new team, which is going to be Team 6, where we have the Garchomp, Magnezone, Breloom, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, and Talonflame. So this is a team created by Roberto Porretti, known online as Raider VGC. He got top 8 in the 2018 World Championship. So yeah, a really accomplished player, and he was able to take this team to top 4 at the Turin Special Event in Italy. And yeah, it was a really stacked event with a ton of excellent players, and it's also a really unconventional team. Like Garchomp, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, Talonflame have all kind of been mainstays of the James Evans Tailwind team, which I've mentioned before. Probably the most successful Tailwind team of the format. But he really mixed it up with the last two, being the Focus Sash Breloom, and most interestingly, the Choice Specs Magnezone, which we have really seen none of up to this point. Now, just to go over each of the individual Pokemon sets, we'll start with Garchomp. The Garchomp has a pretty conventional set. It has Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Stomping Tantrum, and Protect. Sometimes we'll see Rock Slide over Stomping Tantrum or Dragon Claw, but here we just have the stab coverage. We see the Clear Amulet, mainly to stop Intimidate from Gyarados and Arcanine. And I suppose it can stop Icy Winds after you have gone for the Fire Terra on it. But that's not really going to be such a common use case. But yeah, the Fire Terra type is generally going to be to resist any Fairy type coverage from the Fluttermane and any burns from Arcanine. If they want to get cheeky, maybe Terra to try and avoid your Earthquake and Will-O-Wisp you have the option to go for a Terra Fire there. Next, we have the Magnezone, which is rocking the Sturdy ability. So it's basically a built-in Focus Sash. It has the Choice Specs and Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Terra Blast, and Flash Cannon. Roberto could have kind of gone for a really old school combination with the Terra Flying Magnezone having Discharge with the Earthquake and Garchomp for the classic Disquake combo, but doesn't opt for that here. Goes for the Terra Blast with Terra Flying, which I would assume is mainly to hit Amoonguss, which the team otherwise could have some troubles with. But yeah, the Flying Terra mainly for Earthquake, but also adding a bit of offensive flair there as well. Breloom has the Technician ability to boost the power of Bullet Seed and Mach Punch by 50%, and if you get a high roll on Bullet Seed and hit 4 or 5 hits, you're really doing incredible damage from a Pokemon that's otherwise pretty weak. Breloom's main value on the team is a fast Spore user, though, just being able to stop opponents from moving before they attack, rather than Amoonguss sort of needing to sponge a hit and then Spore after. Has a lot of advantages that most teams in the meta aren't quite prepared for. And of course, we have the Focus Sash to increase longevity. It's not really a bulky Pokemon. And a Ghost Terra to weather any basically extreme speeds from Dragonites. Fluttermane is the most standard Pokemon on the team. It has Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Protect, and Booster Energy, along with the Fairy Terra. Roberto never revealed whether he was a speed boosting or special attack boosting Fluttermane on stream, so I just went with special attacking in this case and added a bit of bulk and a lot of speed. The Chien-Pao is really interesting. It's the Terra Ice with Life Orb to really maximize the damage coming out of Ice Spinner. It also has Icy Wind and Sucker Punch along with Protect. So yeah, I don't think we've really seen any Icy Wind Chien-Pao. No Life Orb and definitely no Ice Terra. So yeah, this is a really interesting take on the Pokemon that lets it provide even more presence on the field as well as speed control. And this Talonflame is actually pretty interesting. It's mostly standard, Ghost Terra, Brave Bird, Tailwind, and Will-O-Wisp, but I want to point out the Quick Guard and the Sharp Beak. Sharp Beak increases the damage of Brave Bird by a lot, and because you have Quick Guard to block any extreme speeds from Dragonite, you can port over the bulk that you usually have to live Terra Normal extreme speed over to attack to even further increase the damage output of Brave Bird. The way this team is generally going to be played is oftentimes leading Talonflame and maybe Garchomp or Fluttermane to get some spread damage off, or Magnezone to be able to Volt Switch out into a bit more favorable position. In the mid game, a really fast Breloom under Tailwind can deal with your opponents if they're out of position, and then Chien-Pao Garchomp or Chien-Pao Fluttermane are two fast Pokemon in the late game that can deal tons of damage and just clean up the game. At this point in the meta, though, people are really prepared for the Garchomp, Fluttermane, Chien-Pao, Talonflame parts of this core, but I think it was really interesting how Roberto was able to leverage Magnezone's Volt Switch, pivoting ability, and Breloom's Spores to exploit holes in people's Tailwind's game plans that they weren't ready for. But overall, this was a really innovative team building effort from Roberto, and also excellently piloted to get top 4 at one of the most stacked European regionals in Italy. And I'm excited to be featuring it for you guys on this channel. I think it features a lot of really interesting variations to what you're used to seeing on hyper-offensive Tailwind teams. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the battles, and these teams take a little bit of time to create. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, and I hope you guys enjoy the battles. All right, so this team definitely functions well in best of 3. Obviously, it got top 4 at a best of 3 open team sheet regional, but I think it has a lot of really tricky items and move slots that really enable it in best of 1 even better. So we're up against Andy, who has another Tailwind team with with Talonflame, Great Tusk, Torkoal, Arcanine, Fluttermane, and Iron Hands. So yeah, triple fire, notably. Unfortunately, we don't have Rock Slide on Garchomp, but they also don't know that we're Clear Amulet. So I think that's a strong contender for my lead. I think Magnezone's a pretty solid lead, but most importantly, I have to handle their Talonflame. I think I could see myself going for a late game Talonflame myself, but what I like here is Garchomp Magnezone lead to be able to threaten their Talonflame with a Volt Switch. And I might Volt Switch. I'll be able to Volt Switch last into my Talonflame most likely. So yeah, we'll start there. And so now we got to think. We're not really answering Fluttermane that well. I think Great Tusk we have a bit of weakness to, so I wouldn't mind Breloom here. And we'll actually be leaving Fluttermane and Chien-Pao on the bench. So we have our quirkiest Pokemon in this battle right now. All the Pokemon with techs outside of the Chien-Pao with Life Orb, but I think into the 3 fire types and the Great Tusk, it wasn't a favored match for us. Ooh, and Andy has the same colored hair as my trainer. Very, very nice on their end. We see Great Tusk Talonflame into Magnezone and Garchomp. So yeah, this is where Sturdy comes in very, very handy. I think they'll probably go for something like Earthquake. If they double my Magnezone, that is a bit of trouble. But how likely am I to use my Terra this match? I think that'd be a pretty aggressive play on their end. But I'm not... Okay, yeah. I scared myself that they were Terraing, but yeah, no Terra from their side. I'll be going for the Terra. Flying on my Magnezone. If they go for Earthquake or Headlong Rush into that slot, no damage. Close Combat would do some, but yeah, we're hoping none of that comes out. And we see Talonflame Tailwind, so I could have just let my Magnezone take this hit. Ice Spinner into Garchomp, so yeah, fully wasted. Completely wasted there on my end, and now I'm actually weak to their Ice Spinner. Okay. Impossible to tell if their Great Tusk was Choice Scarf there. But yeah, that was the... I wanted my Magnezone to be at full HP to handle their Great Tusk, but now, unfortunately, I am... weak to their Fluttermane in the back, and I don't have my Terra anymore. It'd be really nice to be able to Terra Fire my Garchomp in front of Great Tusk and Fluttermane, so that was a bit aggressive of a play, given that Brave Bird... Oh, that I can handle. I guess that's not ideal for a number of reasons, but they could extreme speed me and that wouldn't be great. But, do I think an Ice Spinner will knock me out? Possibly. Yeah, I put myself in a really bad spot wasting my Terra like that. I wonder if Brave Bird knocks them out. Most likely not. I'm just going to go for Tailwind Earthquake and see if, yeah, they do extreme speed. But if we're lucky and Ice Spinner doesn't knock out... Oh. Yeah, they don't even, they try and go for the double knockout, but I'm not even a bulky Talonflame, I don't think. And I survive. So that was miscalculated on their side pretty bad. They would have needed a crit on one of those to get out of that situation, but now we're in a pretty solid spot. And I think they're pretty tempted to go for extreme speed again. So what I'm going to do is just Earthquake and Quick Guard. And we'll see if their Great Tusk is Choice Scarf now. And they are, unfortunately. Yeah, an Ice Spinner was going to knock out our Garchomp. That's not great. Okay, so... Just to take stock of Tailwind turns, Earthquake, Protect. We got knocked out, so they have one turn of Trick Room left. Or Tailwind, and we have one more turn than they do. So that's not ideal, but it's not the worst. I think what we can do fairly safely here is go for another Quick Guard and I think I'm going to Brave Bird and Volt Switch here. Who could their last Pokemon be? Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Volt Switch and Brave Bird. If they do extreme speed, which they don't, okay. Ooh, I do... Yeah, I mean, they didn't extreme speed, so I need... Ooh, that's interesting. So they Wild Charge. So if they had knocked himself out with Recoil, that actually would have been really bad for me. But fortunately, we knock out Arcanine. Great Tusk is locked into Ice Spinner, which isn't great, but it's not bad. And we'll have one turn of Tailwind advantage, where we're able to knock out their Great Tusk with Breloom. Most likely, they can Terra out of it, unfortunately. And looking at my speed, I'm 115 speed, which hits 230 in Trick Room. I think I calced the outspeed specifically Great Tusk. So I'll be able to knock that out with a Terra Flying no matter what, I think, and Spore the partner. But Torkoal. If that gives them a speed boost, I could be in trouble. Great Tusk activates, and it activates Attack. Okay, that's ideal. So 152 is Great Tusk max attack. Times 1.5 is 228. Divided by 2 is 114. And we're 115 speed. So, given that, I think we have a very safe turn here of... Let's just check the battle conditions. Always good to do that when you think you have a safe play and you have some time to spare. Tailwind, yeah, one more turn. So we're going to go for a Terra Blast into Great Tusk. We're guaranteed to outspeed unless my math is very wrong. And Spore into Torkoal. So yeah, that's what I was talking about in the intro. This late game Spore with any Tailwind advantage is just really, really valuable. And yeah, we're running a timid, very close to max speed Magnezone, specifically to outspeed Great Tusk with a Choice Scarf, and that's really panning out here. And fortunately for us, they were not Safety Goggles, they were not Lumberry, so now we're able to go for another Terra Blast into Torkoal with the Choice Specs. That's going to do a lot of damage. So now let's think, do they have any Terra types, because they haven't burned it yet, that can handle Terra Blast? And if they do, should we Bullet Seed or Mach Punch to better cover that? So flying is resisted by Rock, it's resisted by Rock, Steel, Electric. Is Steel likely? I don't think so. Rock is potentially likely, so I guess I'll go for Bullet Seed and just try and high roll them. But I think most likely it's going to be Terra Fire, I guess. I guess I should have just gone for Mach Punch. That's the maximum damage, but okay, 60 damage on Mach Punch. I need to do 120 damage on Bullet Seed, which is equivalent to... I would have needed like 4 hits to do more damage with Bullet Seeds there, but yeah, unless they have Heat Wave and they double hit and they first turn Wake and they burn my Breloom, this won't matter. Yeah, they had to live the Terra Blast too, which they do not, so we're able to net our first win with this team with the anti-meta duo themselves, Breloom and Magnezone. But yeah, we made that a lot harder than it needed to be. As we saw, if we had just preserved the Terra Fire on Garchomp, they wouldn't have had anything to deal with it. Arcanine would have been able to do anything, and neither would Torkoal. So yeah, we're able to win that. Not so convincingly, but with some good Tailwind management, we're able to do it. But if we had preserved our Terra better, that would have been a very clean win for us. So not too happy with the play there. That last battle showed a generally strong strategy when you're playing against opposing Tailwind teams, which is the person who gets Tailwind up second and weathers the turns a little better is generally in a better position, just because Tailwind teams don't often carry that many protects. So on that last turn of Tailwind, when you have complete speed superiority, if you set it up right, that can be a really devastating turn. But we're playing against Yu, who has Dondozo, Tatsu, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Tinglu, and Glamora. I believe that's the Droopy Tatsugiri, which is defense boosting. We don't have Haze on Qianpao, which some of them do, but this one does not. So Breloom's usefulness kind of hinges on whether we think they're a Terra Grass Dondozo. A lot of the times they lead like something. This seems like pretty stally. Like Tinglu Glamora will sometimes go for a lead and just like Stealth Rock and Mortal Spin, which I think I need to cover. So I'm going to try and force a Terra perhaps with Garchomp. Talonflame could be pretty bad, but it could also... Getting Will-O-Wisp off could be valuable. Magnezone could be really good depending on who their Terra is. So yeah, I'm going to go for Talonflame, Garchomp, Magnezone, and my last, I think, will be... I went with Qianpao, but I don't think that's right. Although, if they are... If I had Breloom... Yeah, I'm not sure about the Qianpao bring. Breloom might have been more correct, because if they lock into Terra Grass, then Terra Flying covers them pretty hard. And we see Glamora Chi-Yu, which is very favorable, I'd say, for Talonflame. I don't really even think we need to get Tailwind up, because we're max speed Garchomp, so we can kind of just go for a good coverage play here and potentially just try and knock out their Glamora. But let's think that through. I don't think Tailwind will be too beneficial for us here, but I could be wrong about that. Tailwind's definitely the safer play, but it's just such a free Terra Grass for them. Yeah, I ran out of time, but I think if I'm thinking this game over a bit more critically and more strategically, yeah, they're Terra Grass on GU, unfortunately. Yeah, I was thinking Tailwind covers me better if they have Fluttermane and not the Dondozo one back, whereas Brave Bird covers me really well if they do have Dondozo one back. So, yeah. We're going to see a very nice Brave Bird putting Glamora. That's Choice Scarf. That is Choice Scarf Chiyu. Okay. So Tailwind would have been way nicer for us because now they'll outspeed us, unfortunately. That's not great. Yeah, that's part of why we should have Tailwinded. Just to cover for something like that because, well, because they're Choice Scarf Chiyu, that suggests to me that they're Focus Sash Glamora or Assault Vest. So, and we see the booster energy is going to be what? Special attack. Okay. So that pretty much tells us their back is going to be either Tatsugiri. I mean, it doesn't tell us anything. It could be all of those three, but we know that they don't have the Dondozo mode in the back. So I think Dark Pulse has a... Let's look at our special defense stats. 105 versus 90, 89. I think Talonflame will live. I think it'll live. Let's think. You know what? I think I'm going to go for Earthquake Tailwind still. They go for Dark Pulse. It doesn't knock us out. We get Tailwind up, so we're going to get an Earthquake off. Yeah, just based off... even though we have lower special defense, we don't have that much lower special defense, so I figured, all right, Talonflame should be tanking this, so beyond a flinch, we should be able to get a good Earthquake off. And yeah, they're going to net a double knockout here, but now we're going to get our Life Orb Chien-Pao in Trick Room, or in Tailwind, and our Magnezone in Tailwind. So if they're a modest Chiyu, our Magnezone will not outspeed them, even in Tailwind, just because it's such a slow Pokemon naturally, even though we've trained it really, really speedily. I think even with the max speed investment, Magnezone won't be able to outspeed. But yeah, unfortunately, we're going to be taking damage on our Chien-Pao pretty rapidly at about a pace of 20% per turn if we're hitting ourselves with Life Orb. But we have pretty much guaranteed hits into everything in the back. Because Ice Spinner, I guess we just have to pick our lock now. I think our safest lock is Terra Blast because it covers all their Pokemon in the back. Like, it won't be super effective into Dondozo like Thunderbolt would be, but I think if they have Dondozo in the back, we're fine regardless. It's equally as good into Tatsugiri, I guess a little worse than Thunderbolt, and it's just overall the safest play in case they have the Dondo or the Tinglu in the back. We really can't afford to be locking into. Yeah, I guess it would have been fine if we knock out Fluttermane this turn, but I just don't want to be put in a weird spot where somehow they live the Ice Spinner. Yeah, kind of a weird spot, but I was probably fine no matter what I lock into reasonably, but I was really just trying to cover for, I guess, Yachi Berry Tinglu, which, you know, isn't standard, but not outside of the realm of possibility. Was looking for 100% win condition when realistically that's not possible to find. Like, they could be Quick Claw Tinglu and just find they're out there, but I think we're in a pretty good spot overall. Ice Spinner should knock out their Tinglu with Life Orb, and if it doesn't, we're able to... They don't have any ground moves to hit us. They probably don't have Throat Chop, so I think, yeah. Oh, they would have lived. Yeah, so Terra Blast was definitely correct. But I would have knocked out with Terra Ice, so... But they missed the double protect, so unless they have a Choice Banded Rock Slide crit through Sturdy, this should be an easy one. But yeah, the important thing with Tailwind is just finding on the turns you're up, just doing the best you can to just minimize the wiggle room your opponent has. They'll always have some play for the most part that can take some gas away from your Tailwind, but if you're able to cover as many of those as possible, then it becomes a bit of a guessing game for them. That's usually in your favor. But in that one, I played a bit risky. I was really susceptible to 2 flinches in the early game to Dark Pulse, and neither of them came out. But if they get either, I think I might not just lose, but I think I might get pretty close. All right, we have a Japanese opponent running a really slow team. They got the Wo Chien and the double Intimidate. So Glamora, Grimmsnarl. Sorry, completely blanked on Minecraft's name. Gyarados, Arcanine, and Wo Chien. Garganackle. That's it. So obviously Clear Amulet really is going to carry its weight in gold here. Magnezone, I think, is really strong into most of their team. Actually, all of their team. Unfortunately, I can't heal myself, so I do have to be a bit conservative about its HP stat. I think Fluttermane's pretty strong as a lead. We do have to be a little careful. I think Fluttermane in the back is probably stronger. Xianpao has the potential to do a lot of damage to their team, but I think it's going to take too much damage from Poison and Life Orb too quickly. I actually think I like these a lot. Just the order of them is what's difficult to choose. I think Magnezone's a really a no-brainer lead. I might try and exert pressure early with Garchomp and then bring in Booster Energy Flutter later with Spore pressure on the field to do lots of damage. But yeah, I think they're going to be really unpleasantly surprised by Clear Amulet in this best of 1 set. They do have the Wo Chien to otherwise lower my attack output and a lot of good defensive switches and potential Terras, but forcing them to switch around gives me the advantage when I have Choice Specs Magnezone on the field. So yeah, I'm just going to be trying to chip away with neutral damage and sometimes super effective damage on that and try not to bite into their obvious defensive plays here. Yep, Arcanine Grimmsnarl, kind of what we expected. They are threatening... I guess the question is, when do I just want to reveal Terra Flying? I think now is not a bad time, honestly. Because I don't really have a switch in here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for it. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I do. So I've sort of forced myself into positions in both of these games where turn 1 I'm making a pretty aggressive Terra, but that's really what this Garchomp lead lends itself well to, so I'm not too upset about it. The most they'll be able to do here is probably Will-O-Wisp my Garchomp. Maybe they get a Fake Out off on Grimmsnarl. You got to be wary of that in best of 1, but... Ooh, Parting Shot. If we had Volt Switched, this is probably Gyarados. But yeah, this is a pretty effective switch for them, unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of forgot about Parting Shot. It's the Slug. So they'll be able to live our Earthquake pretty easily, but so what, right? We're going to do a lot of damage with Flash Cannon. Arcanine is now in range of... No, it's not, because of a berry. But if they miss, they're in range of another Earthquake. Yeah, they Will-O-Wisp, so had we gone for Terrifier, that would have been pretty spicy, but no dice. Huh. Okay. Let's see how much this does, though. Ooh, not a lot. That could be Assault Vest. That could be Assault Vest. Who do they probably have in the back? I have to cover for Garganackle, and at this point, my best way to beat it is Magnezone. So what I might do is switch in my Flutter Mane and go for Stomping Tantrum into the Arcanine. Like, at this point, I know I'm not going to be able to beat Wo-Chien with Garchomp. Of course, yeah, I was never going to be able to do that, but yeah, they made a solid play here. I thought they'd prioritize a screen, but they did not. They prioritized just parting shotting out, which is smart. I kind of forget that it has that option. Ooh, they protect Wo-Chien though, so that kind of suggests they're going for what? Flare Blitz? But that's really good damage for us, yeah. They're in range of a 2-hit now. They go for Snarl, huh. That's not ideal. Definitely not ideal, but not the worst thing. They have sort of hampered our booster energy a bit. They did just burn that option. I think I'll go for a pretty safe Dazzling Gleam Stomping Tantrum here. I could get more aggressive. Yeah. I could have gone for Moonblast or something, but I just wanted to cover their Arcanine the best I could. Because that's... Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Oh, okay. If they Giga Drain, they're getting a lot of HP back. That was unexpected. Wow, okay. Leech, what? Okay. Fair enough. I feel like a Protect is pretty obvious from them. But I think Dazzling Gleam also just knocks them out, so... So what? Yeah, I think I'm going to go for another Dazzling Gleam to cover them going for a Terra on Arcanine. Part of me really just wants to Earthquake myself. Is that stupid? Because it could be Poison or Fire Terra. And just in the off chance it is, I want to go for Earthquake, honestly. They go for a switch. Who could that be? Garganackle. Yeah, they just go for Protect. So yeah, that was kind of I was maybe thinking a little too hard there. But we're gonna do some decent damage into the Gargster. But yeah, minimal damage into Flutter Mane, and at this point I think they don't have a great... They really don't have a switch in for me going for Moonblast into... Well, they don't have a switch in, but I don't knock them out either. I think I'm going to Protect here. Just Protect Switch, I think is smarter. I'm kind of tired of them getting this much HP back. This might be the turn they Terra, but I think as soon as they Terra, I'm pretty happy with that. Or it could just be switching to Arcanine. I'll go Breloom here. Because the worst that happens is basically I get my Sash broken. And they're really just trying to... you know what? Probably should have protected Flutter here. Yeah, is this the turn they finally Terra? No, actually. Not the correct Pokemon. So they Terra their Garg. Assault Cure probably will put me in wide guard. Okay, interesting. Fully disagree with that play. I think they're in a really solid spot defensively if they just Salt Cure there. Maybe Terra the Wochien. I have to make a pretty aggressive read if they're Poison Terra. I have to Shadow Ball Stomping Tantrum to have a chance to knock that out or protect. But yeah, now I think we're in a really strong spot. We are Snarled. Sorry, wow, did you guys hear that? My dog just popped his back like crazy. Anyways, yeah, so my Flutter Mane's a bit weaker than I would like, honestly. I think it's double protect time. Just reveal. No. I don't think it is. Is it? Whoops, ran out of time. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm playing passive this turn, so I'm giving them another leftovers HP. I don't think in the grand scheme it will matter, but... Oh, wait, no, I definitely should have spored Grimmsnarl. I totally forgot. Whoops. Never mind. Double Protect was correct. I'm a genius. Yeah, I forgot that... I forgot that our boy Arcanine is actually the citrus berry or whatever berry it was. It's not safety goggles, so that's always a free Spore into the Grimmsnarl slot. But yeah, no reason to risk my Flutter Mane. It's actually in a worse position. I am going to be losing my booster energy, but I'll also be losing a turn of, or I'll be losing a Snarl Drop. Like, Wochien was still taking so much damage from like weak on Terra to booster energy, Snarl, Dazzling Gleams. Okay, but yeah, they finally get their light screen off, which isn't nothing. Like that's valuable for them for sure. But they didn't get Reflect off, which I think I'm happy with. So I'm going to try and knock out the Grimmsnarl. I'm just going to be basically bullet seeding that slot and stomping tantruming it because I don't want Arcanine switching in and living. So yeah. What could be cute is Dragon Clawing the Grimmsnarl. Okay. Dragon Claw Grimmsnarl and double our Stomping Tantrum next turn. But yeah, we're not swagging that hard. They stay in. I think it might have been better. You're not gaining anything but leftovers HP with that guy on the field. So I think the Intimidate could have been more valuable to ensure that your Grimmsnarl lives this. 2 hits, 3 hits, and 4 hits. Clean knockout. Let's go, Breloom. Yeah, it has a lot of variance as a mon, but it definitely, when you're hitting, you're hitting. So Grimmsnarl goes down and they only get the light screen up. They Salt Cure my Garchomp. We know they have Protect on Arcanine. Okay. So Garchomp is going to go down in a second. And Salt Cure is kind of ticking down. Let's see. So we'll get knocked out next turn, but they have to commit a Extreme Speed into my slot to ensure that. And I would then get in Flutter Mane, but they're probably Salt Curing that slot. Yeah. Mach Punch, I'm pretty sure won't knock out yet. So I think I'm going to Stomp. And I guess the question is, do I care about Fluttermane much more than I do Magnezone? 187 special attack compared to 182, they're pretty comparable. But I think it's probably just easier to let them take the knockout. They're Snarl, so they probably don't have extreme speed, so we'll go for Protect on Breloom just to prevent any damage and not risk a switch in. Or not risk taking any Salt Cure on switch in. So yeah, against these defensive grindy teams, they're kind of looking for you to get impatient and try and position your offense really aggressively. But if you can avoid that temptation, oh yeah, see, they were looking for a switch there. But now I bring in Fluttermane, I get a Salt Cure off, and I get a Shadow Ball into the Arcanine, and a free opportunity to reset this Intimidate by switching into my Magnezone, and also get, Magnezone in, which is threatening a lot of damage with Thunderbolts. Boop, Fluttermane, you're my guy. Don't have to risk Mach Punch not knocking out if we can just Shadow Ball and knock out Arcanine straight up. And if they do get a double protect, we will be able to Mach Punch the Arcanine next turn with no risk of extreme speed, shipping one of our Pokemon down. This is still pretty tight though with Light Screen up. If they hit favorably, if they get favorable Bullet Seed hits on their Garganackle, their Minecraft man, they could win. But because it's now a 2 against 1, they didn't go for the double protect, or they didn't get it. I wasn't really paying attention. Because really this battle at this point is just switch attack, as they try and cycle or get protects off. But yeah, 41 HP on Fluttermane left. Switching that boy out. You know what? I actually might be playing too aggressively by switching it out. Let's look at Light Screen turns. 1 turn of Light Screen left. You know what? No, yeah, they can't guarantee both Pokemon have Salt Cure on them in 1 turn. Like, I'll always be getting an attack off as long as I keep switching. And eventually they'll knock out Fluttermane, but to do that they have to attack Fluttermane that turn, which means I'll have one Pokemon, or both Pokemon on the field next turn won't have Salt Cure on them. Yeah, Salt Cure doing a lot, but again, now I'm in for free. I get Bullet Seed threatening, and yeah, we'll see if they were the Light Clay Grimmsnarl here, if Light Screen wears off. Residual, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, again, Bullet Seed, switch. Just playing this slow and steady, trying not to take any risks that could lose us this battle. Which I think I noted throughout, like, there's a lot of times where I could have switched aggressively and they would have caught me with a Salt Cure, they would have caught me with any number of moves that would have been really problematic. But yeah, we get the 2-hit on Bullet Seed, so we continue to play a bit more. And as I said, they have to attack into Fluttermane at some point if I keep switching to get a Salt Cure off on it and knock it out. And now I get Magnezone and Breloom in for free. And they have to be going for Salt Cure and not Recover. So they'll never have enough HP to get 2 Salt Cures off and win the game. Just to remind myself, 90, yeah. I was near certain Thunderbolt is stronger than Flash Cannon, but in the off chance that, I don't know that correctly, then I want to check if Flash Cannon, if they're the same base power, then Flash Cannon is better because I can get special defense drops, whereas Thunderbolt can never. Thunderbolt Garganackle, because of its ability, Purifying Salt, preventing any status conditions. But yeah, like I've been saying, they're stalling for a bit of HP, but they're also stalling away their own Light Screen. So yeah, Bullet Seed, 1 hit, 2 2. And another 2. So, getting dicey. Just kidding. Yeah. Oh, they go for recover. So, yeah, we're doing more than 50% HP though, so that's a bit futile on their end when Light Screen is slowly piddling away and they don't have a Soul Cure off. So we've proceeded to the click A part of the battle. And let's just close this one out. "3 minutes until battle end." So yeah, really long one here. But it's not going to be close in the end. They're really playing for a DC at this point. Although I could play for timer just to embarrass them if I wanted to. I have a minute 30 of time. Nah, let's not do it to him. Let's just take this knockout. Bullet Seed 1, a 2. Really, 3 consecutive 2-hit Bullet Seeds, and it still didn't matter. Yeah, so like I said earlier, just we really brought this down to would have had to get absurd luck, probably a bunch of triple protects to somehow get Assault Cure off into my Magnezone, and even then I went on time, just because once they get that triple protect, I just take time on my timer, and yeah. So pretty slow game, but yeah, interesting. We're finally able to show off the Flutter Mane, just doing what Flutter Mane does against Wo-Chien. So yeah, on the day went 3-0 with Roberto Porretti's top 4 Turin Special Event team. Was really impressed. The Clear Amulet Garchomp definitely carried. There's a lot of elements that were even better in best of 1 format, but overall the Magnezone and the Breloom mode were really, really impressive, and awesome anti-meta additions to the team that I really have to take my hat off to Roberto for adding them. Takes a lot of guts to just take something into a regional that's really not on the map and do extremely well with it. So yeah, great battles today, and I hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe, and peace.